Welcome to The Discerning Mother, the podcast for Jesus-loving moms who want to tune out the noise and tune into God's design for motherhood. I'm Bridget Tibaldi, a board-certified women's health coach, holistic health practitioner, birth nerd, and homeschooling mom of 5. I help moms to heal their minds and bodies, trust their instincts, and embrace the beauty of the way God created them. Here we talk about birth, hormones, motherhood, faith, and anything else. Let's go. Alrighty, so this past weekend, my little sister was married, and watching her walk down the aisle and just prepare for this was so cool. And it really just reminds me that how beautiful these sacraments are that we have and how beautiful it is to be a woman. And as I was sitting and really pondering this, I found myself reflecting because that's what I do. And I was reflecting on how profoundly marriage mirrors birth in God's design. So both marriage and birth are thresholds. Both are covenant moments. And both in their own way are sacraments of love being poured out, right? So in marriage, two becomes one. So it's not just we believe that it's not just a legal agreement or a social contract. It's a covenant, right? It's a yes that echoes God's eternal yes to us. So it's beautiful, but it also demands everything. So it demands your patience, your sacrifice, your willingness to give and receive love in ways that you didn't even know you were capable of. It means that you are giving your body up as well, and your time, energy, everything like that. And birth is really no different. Birth and motherhood. Birth is also a covenant moment, but between you, your baby, and God. And so it's a threshold where suffering and love really meet and where sacrifice and joy are bound together. And so just as a bride walks down the aisle, not really necessarily fully knowing what's ahead, a mother enters labor, or even pregnancy, with uncertainty, right? We don't know exactly what's going to happen. We have an idea, but we don't know exactly how it's all going to unfold, no matter what preparation you do or where you are or what you're doing or anything like that. But we know that both moments require surrender. Both moments demand trust. And there is this one difference, though. One difference, depending on who you're talking to. But so for couples before marriage, they are typically having some sort of counseling or retreats or pre-Cana marriage encounter or engagement encounter or whatever it is like that. Typically they're surrounded with teaching and encouragement and everybody's saying how marriage is beautiful, but it's hard, right? And we understand that, again, in this circle, at least, marriage is a holy vocation. But when it comes to birth, women are so often kind of left to figure it out, or maybe even worse, that they're told that what they want doesn't really matter or it's not possible. And that neglect from a preparation standpoint and then from an execution standpoint has consequences, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And I want to just pause here and bring in a little bit of science because, again, that's who I am. We know for sure that birth is not just a physical event, right? We know from research that birth and the nervous system are deeply tied to memory, emotion, trauma. And so the amygdala, the part of the brain that processes fear and threats, is really active during labor. And that's actually a good thing. That's the way that God designed it, right? Think about an animal. It has to, you have to stay alert. So a mother's heightened sensitivity helps her to stay alert and protect her baby. But where there's a problem is when a woman's environment feels unsafe because of unnecessary, medical interventions, feeling dismissed, or just feeling trauma from the past. Maybe her nervous system interprets birth as not a threshold of life and love, but really as a threat. And so the amygdala is kind of firing off. Cortisol, which is the stress hormone, starts to flood the body. And again, some of this is good, but when we have too much, that's when it's not good. Oxytocin, which is the love hormone, the hormone that actually makes labor progress and fuels that maternal bonding, that oxytocin shuts down. And so just think about that, the very hormone that God designed to open the cervix and strengthen contractions, the hormone that's released in intimacy and breastfeeding, the hormone of love is suppressed by fear. So again, it's not just about biology. There's so much theology written into our bodies as well, where, you can just look at the Bible. Perfect love drives out fear. But fear, when it takes hold, can literally stall or distort the process of birth. And that's why so many women walk away from birth with trauma, or at the very least, wounds that they can't exactly name. And so I know I've said this many, many times before, but studies estimate that minimum that around 1 in 3 women describes their birth as traumatic. It's more like 45 to 50% though. And of those, like 15% meet the criteria for PTSD. So those numbers are absolutely staggering. And again, most women are just told to like move on, right? But just like in any situation, God doesn't waste anything. Like not even the pain, not even the hardest chapters. And just like marriage, where the cross and the resurrection are always intertwined, birth can be a place of redemption as well. And so, again, theology tells us that birth, like marriage, is holy because it's an act of participating in God's creative love. So a mother in her body becomes co-creator with God. Again, like that's huge. That's not something that's small. Like it's not incidental. It's massive. But we don't think of it like that. Like our culture has totally warped what it means to give birth. It's just this medical event that happens. But it's not. It's so much more than that. So when a woman isn't prepared or her dignity is violated in that space, it doesn't just wound her body. It really is like a spiritual attack. And I just did a social media post on this last week. And my goodness, the messages that I received after posting that was like, okay, I'm clearly onto something because it resonated with so many of you. And so, again, what we experience distorts the image of God's love that's written into the very act of bringing forth life. And again, that's why healing matters. That's why preparation matters. And I'm not saying like nursery preparation, although it's obviously fun to go and pick out the different colors, the decoration, the themes, if that's something you want to do. That's not the preparation I'm talking about, though. Actual preparation starts with going through and experiencing the joys, the sorrow, the suffering, giving those all up to God and asking Him to heal you, asking Him to help you see who you really are as a daughter of Christ. That's the actual preparation that I'm speaking of. And it's the same preparation that we should do for marriage and for birth as well. Where if we're moving into a marriage and we don't even know who we truly are, then how is that going to work out from a relationship standpoint? It's not. We're always going to be looking for other people to validate ourselves. We're always going to be looking outside of ourselves. When in reality, just like in marriage, in birth, if we are grounded in who we are, if we know that God made us in such a beautiful way and that we know that this is why we are here on this earth, then like nothing can rock that. It's just so cool. And I believe and I've seen that when a woman approaches birth with reverence, when she prepares her mind, her body, and her soul, she not only births her baby differently, but she also births herself in like this totally different way, where she steps into motherhood more whole, more confident, more connected, and just a completely different person. And so if you've already walked through birth and it was hard or it was traumatic, or you're like, I want kids, but I can never go through that again, like I want you to know that healing really is possible. And I know it's annoying whenever people say that, because especially right now, if you're in the thick of it, you're probably like, no, she doesn't understand what I'm going through. And you know what? Like, no, I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I've been through my own story, so I know what you're feeling at least. And again, I can say that healing is possible, and like your story does not have to end here, because I've worked with women who have had babies 25 years ago, literally 24 years ago was one of them, and she said it still makes her sad every time he has a birthday, because she never got to experience the birth and postpartum that she was really desiring. And so with that in mind, like redemption is always on the table with God, like always. So maybe right now you're listening and maybe you're pregnant and you're like, I want my birth to go this way, or this is how I want it to unfold. Or maybe you've already had your baby, but your heart like still aches about it. Like either way, this is where I want to invite you into something simple, but really powerful. So I've created a free birth quiz. It's designed to help you uncover your past birth or even current fears and beliefs about birth and how they might be affecting you today. Because sometimes we don't realize how much we're carrying until we pause and look at it honestly. So this quiz is quick. It's designed for moms. If you're watching this, you can see that I have a baby nursing, crawling all over me. And so I get that things need to happen fast. I get it. And so this quiz will really give you insight and clarity. It'll help you see what's still lingering. It will point you towards the next steps for healing or preparation. And so just like a wedding day, your birth day is meant to be remembered with joy, with reverence, almost as like a living testimony of love, not as a wound, not as a shadow, not as something you want to forget, but as part of God's beautiful design in your life. So if you're ready to take the next step, go take the quiz. It's completely free. And it's going to be the first step in like seeing your story with new eyes, right? Like so cool. And before I close, I just want to ask you to please pray for my sister and her new husband, Justin, as they begin their vocation of marriage. Pray that their covenant will be strengthened by grace, will be filled with patience and joy. And yeah, again, thank you, friends. And until next time, I'll be praying for you. Let me know if you need anything at all.